Cold, wet, you've all heard this before. So I thought before I get cracking for the rest of the week's jobs on the boat, I'd have a quick reflection on the last 6 months. It has been 6 months since we had the fire aboard, and as tragic as all that was, I wanted to have a serious think back and kind of see where I'm at with this project. I mean, aside from the winter rains and slowing me down and delaying the whole thing, I mean, a fire is a pretty good way to delay yourself. I mean, we were getting to sort of big milestones, right? Ready to sail within the next couple of months. Now, obviously, we're very delayed, and we won't be ready to sail for another year or so, potentially more. Progress continues though, and we're not demoralized at all about all of this. And I think that these sorts of things, I mean, they kind of push you to reevaluate your position on a lot of things. So we're okay, you know, we're getting by, we're sorting out the boat slowly but surely. I'm here every day, I'm working, doing other things, and then I'm working on the boat as much as I can, as much as the weather permits. It's obviously expensive, and there's so much that we have to redo. There's entire wiring that we have to redo, which is some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing this week. But there's a ton of refurbishing work. And as much as I would love to just cut things out and make entirely new things, we just, you know, we don't have the budget for that. We can sand, we can paint, we'll fix the trim, and we'll do what we can to make the boat look okay. But we're not in a position where we can just rebuild the interior of the boat. I know some people have asked, why did you just haul out? Haul out your boat, put it on the hard somewhere. You know, there's not many places in South Africa actually where I can do that, unfortunately. And just strip the boat and work on it there. It would be pointless to do that. It's first of all way too expensive. Most of the work that we need to do is interior work any which ways, and that can be done on the water, and it'll be a hell of a lot cheaper because we're already paying for mooring and club, etc. So we don't, most of the work's inside. The bit of the painting and stuff that's done outside, I mean, outside is almost finished. And any rigging work can also be done on the water, so there's no reason to haul out. It'll cost us 3 times as much just to have the boat standing in a yard. And yeah, that money would rather be best spent on, fixing up the boat. We are in a good position in terms of progress. 6 months, you've seen the videos, you've seen what we've done. It seems slow, but I was reviewing some of the footage, and I'll try to include some of it here in this video for this week. I got stuck in really heavily with a crowbar to remove all of this little bit of veneer that needed to come off. There's still quite a bit left to do. Even now there's a whole section in the galley that needs to be removed. Then multi portholes off and straight into painting the next little piece of bulkhead just behind the fridge and the sink area in the galley. I redid the nav station area because I needed a place to work, and I sort of focused on that, and then discovered a rotten area. Also not great, but that was part of the process, and we've always known about that leak. But yeah, that's been recently fixed in another video. Clearly, you know, we've made a ton of progress. It doesn't feel like it every day because every day things move really slowly for me. You guys get to see entire chunks of work get done. But it has made me think about how I'm going to continue to finance this project. And I'm in a kind of a crossroads because there's big expenses. So one of them is the radar. The radar is clearly not working. I've been spending some time testing the radar. So the radar's poked. I either need a new dish, a new radar dome, cable, etc. Massively expensive, and I can't find anything that works for my nav unit, which means I'd have to upgrade that, and then very quickly it all spirals massively out of control. We also have obviously electrical things that need to be replaced. The compass is broken, the autopilot doesn't appear to work correctly. Maybe I can fix that. I mean, the only cool thing is that the AIS still works, and I'm really surprised with that, and the depth, and I don't know about the speed, but yeah. So pricing around for those things, I'm looking at like 100k. So what is that, like $10,000, $7,000, I think. Difficult to convert. I'd have to do that after, but yeah, it's a lot of money. So I am going to start a Patreon. We do have a Tides Less Traveled Instagram, and we have a Tide Less Traveled Patreon, but we haven't worked on it. I haven't done anything on that ever. So I need to do some work on that and launch that. And obviously that's available for anybody who wants to support us. To try and get a little bit of cash together and try to keep the project going so that we can actually move. YouTube will continue. I'll do exactly the same thing on YouTube, on my channel right here. And for everyone that has joined so far, thank you so very much, and I really appreciate the engagement. I do want to grow the channel. It would be nice to be monetized, but you know, I'm not counting on it. I know that it's a ton of work, and I'm not sure yet how I'm going to figure it out, but I'll think about it, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks I'll have something going on Patreon where I'll be able to do a deep dive into what we need. I mean, all sorts of things, like, you know, the fire. I lost cameras. I've got this poor camera, and you guys see it's constantly struggling to focus, and it was left in here during the fire, and ever since then the autofocus just it can't deal with it. I've got a camera that I borrowed from my sister, which is the action camera, which I'll start using again now that I've been able to sort its problem out. But in terms of quality video and stuff, you know, it's another 10,000 Rand to go and buy something semi-decent, a decent camera, you know, or even a decent action camera, a GoPro or something similar. All of these things cost a ton of money, and all my money is tied up in the boat, and I haven't really got spare for all of these things. So I'm at that crossroads where how much do I put into the videos to hope that that grows to pay for itself, and how much do I just carry on funding to do the videos I've got, which will never be as good quality or as well sorted out. But I'm rambling now. So we're okay. 6 months since the fire. It has been expensive, but we're doing quite a bit. The boat's looking better. Painting is getting a little bit on my nerves, and it costs a lot as well. So every time I use one of those little rollers, it's like 40 Rand. And you know, that's probably not much to anyone overseas. What's it, like $3 or something every time I paint something, or $1.80. I'm not sure, I'll have to work that out as well. But that, you know, it's one use because I'm working with epoxy paints. You can't really clean these things. So once I've done a section, which I can only prep section for section, it starts adding up. So every single time I go through a box of rollers, it's like 400 Rand, 400 Rand, 400 Rand. So I'm spending 400 Rand on a little spray gun, and I'll be able to do areas inside. It's just a small little top-loaded thing. I've used similar ones on cars before and on other things that I won't talk about. But they work really well. It will mean I can get entire areas painted and coated a lot quicker, and I want to see visible progress on the boat, like a lot quicker than we have done. We're going to go into spring soon, in another less than 6 weeks or so, and then I really want to ramp up the project, A-Sling project. There's obviously other work as well that needs to happen on Mistress, which you haven't seen on this channel for quite some time. So there's a video that I've been working on that's just been churning away in the background. Right, well, that's enough of that. So for this week, outside of my ramblings, I want to carry on with the electrical board, and I want to fix a few things and make slightly better plans for how to set that up. So I think we best get started with that. Another very cold day, but not a cloud in the sky. So that bodes well. I think the pump is going off. Yep. All that rain down the mizzen mast is filling up that rear bilge, and then it fills up more, it pours into the next one, and so forth until it gets to the center bilge or the engine bilge midship. That's a long-standing issue, but until I swing the boat around and start working on the aft deck, let's see if we can have a productive day today, because yesterday was balls. Right, so what's supposed to happen is that this battery and that one that we've just removed are supposed to get mounted in here. Here's the main cutoff. Right, this will come from the this comes from the alternator, which currently isn't set up at all. The alternator doesn't work. I used to have two batteries in here. They're still kind of set up. I don't like that setup, but yeah, nevertheless, it is there. I have made some new leads. Let me go get. I have new leads that have been made up, and these will go between the two. But there are a few things I'd like to do first. There is a little cubby in here, which I'd like to, I don't know, deal with in some way. Once the batteries are in here, I won't be moving that around much. Then I'd like to sand in here and paint. It could definitely use some good paint. And then the engine batteries will be here, out of the way. This becomes one little spot. I'll put a little door here, and we can deal with the engine batteries separately. But because these are the only batteries I've got, and the engine's currently not running at the moment because of the water pump solution that we still have to come up with, again, that's another massive expense. But we're almost there. A bracket needs to be made up. In the meantime, I'm using these batteries to run the DB board and make sure that we have the pumps running, because technically that's all that's actually set up at the moment. Yeah. Alright, I've just set my charger to a recondition cycle. Now, because this battery is a little bit older and it's been standing there for a while and hasn't been used, I want to top balance the battery. I'll do the same on the other one. In fact, let me get a little bit of sandpaper and actually just clean those terminals up. Alright, recondition cycle has begun. Alright, so it is fully charged already because I did leave her charging overnight. But let's go through the cycle, make sure she's in the best condition. And then once I have prepared in there, I'll do the same to this battery, run a new cable from the board to that battery box, and then we should have things a little bit neater. Yeah, fantastic.
Sadly, that's all I can muster for this week. I do, however, have a video already on the go for next week, because this is early in the week and I've got a ton of footage filmed already of other things. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for supporting up until now and watching the videos. Please continue to do so, like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Cheers guys, bye bye.